time for me to give the boxing on TV ratings. Now, I'm a little backed up with this, okay? So bear with me. I'm going to be going back a little bit here, okay? So let me start with the most recent, and we're going to go all the way back. Now, these will be posted on the website tomorrow. We're going to start off with HBO's broadcast from this past weekend. The Canelo Kirkland fight. Now, as far as the main event, I scored a 5. I give it an excellent. This was a great matchup on paper, and despite this fight only lasting 3 rounds, actually less than 3 rounds, it was exciting from the start to the finish. It's the type of main event we expect from a premier cable network. I had to score it excellent, okay? I know it was short, but I give it an excellent score. As far as the undercard, the regular scheduled undercard for this fight was canceled due to a weight issue, but they replayed the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, which I felt was a snoozer, but I felt I had to give an overall score of satisfactory. It still was a great fight that was supposed to happen, and it happened, so I give it a satisfactory. As far as the crowd goes, I scored a 5, another excellent. This place was packed, and the crowd was on their feet from start to finish. It also got Canelo Alvarez to promise the Texas crowd that he would be fighting in Texas at least once a year, so I scored that a 5. As far as the officiating, nothing bad, nothing good. I give it a 3, a satisfactory. As far as the broadcast team, the broadcast was okay. I think I give it a satisfactory. Max made it a satisfactory because he told it like it was when he was speaking about the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight, and he was dead on all night long. Lampley was okay. He wasn't his usual, he ran his course type self. The only weakness is Roy Jones Jr. I don't know, man. I can't stand watching Roy Jones Jr. on HBO anymore. I think he's terrible. You know, just his delivery is terrible. His face is terrible. The way his expressions are. I'm sorry. I loved him as a fighter, and I loved his first set with HBO. But this last time, I think he's terrible. I scored a 3, and it averages out to 19 when you add it all up, which is a 3.8 score, which gets an overall rating of very good for HBO's 7th broadcast. Now, I missed some, so these broadcast numbers are the ones that we rated. There are some that were missed. Now, the CBS broadcast, which I have as my 3rd one I was able to rate, which took place on Saturday. The main event, I scored a 5. I thought it was excellent, especially for network television. McDonald Comida was action-packed from start to finish. I scored it a 5, which is excellent. This is the kind of fight we want to see. First of all, I want to see it on cable networks, but to see it on network television was great. I had to score it a 5. Check this out. The co-main event, I scored a 5. Another excellent. The undercard between Figueroa and Ricky Burns was another excellent fight to watch. It featured action. It featured boxing. It featured power shots. It featured defense. To me, this was boxing, and I had to give it an excellent rating. Check this out. As far as the crowd, first time I've ever scored 3 excellents in a row. I give it an excellent. Hey, Texas loves its boxing. The house was packed, and they were vocal. I had to give it a 5. As far as the officiating, that drops their overall score way down. I scored a 1. Poor. And you can thank Lawrence Coles for that. He should be banned from boxing, not only from refereeing. He should be banned from the sport. He shouldn't even be allowed to walk past an arena that's scheduled to have boxing. What he did, forget about his checkered past. I mean, there's a plethora of things this guy did throughout his history, but just by his actions and piss-poor performance on Saturday was enough to me. He brought down all the officials to get him an overall rating of poor. As far as the broadcast, you know, I give it an unsatisfactory. Listen, I like Virgil Hunter. I think he's a really good trainer, but he sounded like he needed a shot of espresso. I mean, the guy just sounded like alludes or something. I don't know. He's just very too soft spoken for boxing commentary. Paulie was good as usual, but Ronaldo, he's the worst the sport has. He's the worst blow by blow guy. I scored an unsatisfactory. When you add it all up, it comes a 3.6 because the total was 18. They get an overall rating of very good. Now, the ESPN card from Friday night, I scored a very good. Mansour Dewejko was a good bout. It was entertaining. It could have had a little more action, but hey, if it did, I would have scored it an excellent, but I scored it very good. As far as the undercard, I scored that a very good. I thought it was a solid undercard. Perez-Nicolau fight was entertaining, and I thought it was closer than the judges had it. The crowd was into it. I scored it a 4. As far as the officials, nothing bad, nothing great, satisfactory. Same with the commentators. Teddy and Joe were good that night. They would have received a very good, but that Todd Grisham and Bernardo Asuma, those guys are non-boxing guys, and they have no business being there. I scored that satisfactory. You total it up, 18. It comes out to be a 3.6 rating, which is a very good overall rating. The True TV, now this is the first one I'm rating. I scored the main event very good. I thought it was a decent matchup on paper, but Soro came out and basically beat the shit out of the hometown hero, Glenn Tapia. But hey, it still got a very good score for me, in my opinion. The undercard was very good as well, although I thought Shoni Monahan is grossly overrated. The fight with Conceição was an entertaining fight, and it was a good matchup. It scored a very good for me. The house was packed. I scored it very good. The referee and the commentators both get a satisfactory, nothing bad here, nothing great. 18 is the total score, averages out to 3.6. Very good overall ranking. Now, the Showtime, we're going back to the pay-per-view, the Showtime and pay-per-view, HBO Showtime pay-per-view combo. Look, I had to score the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight excellent. Not for the fight, but for the significance of the fight. On paper, it was an excellent fight, and we as boxing fans had to see it. The significance of the fight gets an excellent. I had to do it that way. As far as the undercard, I give that a 1. That was a piss-poor, pathetic. It was horrific. Don't make me relive it even thinking of it. It was poor. The place was packed, and the crowd was there, but it was an event. It wasn't really a boxing crowd. I scored it a satisfactory. I just would like to have seen more boxing people. As far as the officiating, I scored a satisfactory. You know, I wish Kenny Bayless was Kenny Faceless. He makes the craziest, weirdest faces in boxing that I've ever seen. It makes me sick. I can't even watch him. And as far as the commentating, I had to give it a satisfactory. I couldn't give it any higher. I mean, how do you rate that? You know, you got half the guys from HBO, half the guys from Showtime. You add it all up, it averages out to a 3, which was a satisfactory rating. I also did the Spike TV broadcast from April 24th. That, you know, it was a while ago, so I'm not going to get into the fights and stuff, but the overall score was a 17, averaged out to 3.4, which was a satisfactory grade. The HBO broadcast, which was our 6th, that was back in April 25th. This was the Klitschko-Jennings fight. You know, when that all panned out, I had it coming out to a satisfactory score of 17. I thought the main event was very good. I thought the undercard was satisfactory. I thought the crowd was excellent, but I thought the refereeing and the commentating was not that great. Those were the fights that I had to catch up on for the Billy C. Boxing on TV ratings. Now, I also had, I guess I have some more here. I have from the 17th. Oh, yeah, it goes all the way back to the 17th. The ESPN broadcast, their 11th one I'm doing, averaged out to a 3, which is a satisfactory grade. We had the Fox Sports broadcast, number 6. That averaged out to a satisfactory 3 grade. Showtime's broadcast was a 3.4 satisfactory. That was the Chavez Jr. Fight. HBO, Ruslan Perdanikov, Lucas Matisse, I scored that an excellent. Turned out to be a very good rating of 4.4. And that gets us all caught up on what fights I covered. So to give you a year-to-date update on the ratings. Now, all of these ratings will be up there tomorrow on the website under TV ratings. HBO. Now these numbers are based on what I have rated. I know I missed a couple because of being on the road and stuff, but HBO this year to date, I have a total of 7 events that I rated. Their average is 3.71 for a year to date rating of very good. Showtime, they also have 7 events that I did. They average out to a 3.16 year to date rating, and that's satisfactory. That surprises me because most of those are snooze fest. ESPN has a total of 12 events. They average out to a 3.35 for a year-to-date average rating of satisfactory. Fox Sports, I've done 6. They average out to 3.14 for a year-to-date rating of satisfactory. NBC, I've done 2 of those, 3.5 for a year-to-date rating of very good. CBS, we did 3.25 for a year-to-date rating of satisfactory. Spike TV, I did 2 of those. They were both good, man. 3.6, very good. True TV, I only got the 1. The other one was a good one, but I didn't rate it. And like I told you today, 3.0. That's a year-to-date of satisfactory. And both, I'm sorry, that was a 3.6 of very good. HBO and Showtime both had 1 so far with a 3.0 year-to-date rating of satisfactory. So those will all be posted up on BillyCBoxing.com tomorrow. One quick thing I want to get to.